Hey gang, Melissa Hinault here with the Burnout to All Out podcast. I'm a mom of three, corporate burnout that built a secondary six-figure income around my 9 to 5 with little kids. This set me free and allowed me to fire my boss and pursue my wildest dreams. It took grit, persistence, and belief. But now, operating multiple six-figure businesses as an online entrepreneur and business coach, I have become a serial entrepreneur with a passion to inspire more burnouts to take the leap and go all out and live out their dreams. Each week, I'll bring you inspiring all-out guests, lifestyle business tips, and tools to empower you to take the leap from burnout employee to all-out entrepreneur, making your passion your paycheck. If this mom of three, corporate burnout, can go all out, so can you.
Would you like a peek behind the curtain on my board of advisors that I lean on to make educated decisions about every step that I take in life? This is going to be a great listen for you guys who are wondering, how do I operate my business? Who do I lean on for advice? So take a listen. So today, guys, I'm coming to you talking about board of advisors. So let me ask you, do you have a board of advisors for life, for business? Do you? Let me read to you a quote that I love. A woman who is willing to grow can create anything she desires. The key is you have to be willing to grow. You have to be willing to get uncomfortable, right? You know, an interesting thing, when humans lived in tribes, women had these tight-knit communities of generations in close proximity. You know, women would receive counsel from their elders on rites of passage, relationships, cooking, parenting, you name it. But here in modern day, women in our Western culture, they live very isolated lives where if you're not proactively seeking out guidance, you don't meet your full potential. I've got just a killer board of advisors I'm excited to highlight with you guys today. And what you'll learn as I go through this is my board of advisors has really exploded over the past 2 years because I've seen the ROI on it. The ROI just not on income, guys. I'm talking ROI on life, right? On emotional stability, on sanity, on maximizing and squeezing the juice out of life by hiring in the advisors who are the experts in their field to help me go next level with everything. It's interesting because it took about 2 years ago where it all started, I'd really started to outgrow the leadership that I'd leaned on in my network marketing business. And I'm not saying I'm smarter than them or better than them or anything. What I'm saying is that I realized I wanted more out of life. I wanted more than what they could offer me. I was enjoying my network marketing business, but I'd gotten stagnant and I was losing motivation because I knew I was made for more. And there was this aha moment when I realized if I continue to lean on these people for guidance and leadership, I'm going to be told the same thing over and over. Grow the business, focus on this business, because that was where their mindset was. And they were really good at what they did. They still are. But they don't want or aspire to do what I had a vision to do. So I realized I needed to upgrade where I was getting my advice from. And this happens in life, right? In all different scenarios, you can get the best advice from certain advisors for a season of life. And then you outgrow that and it's time to upgrade and find a new set of advisors. You can have leaders or advisors or mentors, call them what you want, in a myriad of areas. And we're going to talk about it today. But I'm curious, I'll ask kind of a rhetorical question. Do you have a board of advisors to help you navigate life and business? Have you replicated what humans and tribes have known for centuries? So I have a series of advisors I'm excited to highlight today. I'm going to talk a little bit about my advisors within mindset, within business, within money, within faith. And I think it's great to have a balance when you look at advisors too, right? It's okay to have more than one advisor in one space, and we'll talk about that. And I even learned that in business. Even back in my business days, I had two mentors who were polar opposites of each other in how they drove their careers. And they were like the yin and the yang that gave me polar advice, and I could find something in the middle. Because the thing is, they were both achieving what I wanted to achieve, but they were going about it in a very different way, right? And it gave me some balance in coaching. So let's start with mindset. And the mindset piece is the keys that opened the kingdom for me. So I'll take you back to that moment where I realized I'd outgrown what my leadership had been advising me to do, and I needed to seek out some guidance outside of who I was leaning on. So I'm going to give a huge shout out to Courtney Hirsch, because she was the first mindset coach I ever hired. I highly recommend her, especially for those of you who are new to hiring in someone to coach you. I use her a lot with my downline in my network marketing team. She's private coaching with her as a reward with folks who rank advanced in my downline. She really helped me create a blank canvas after I left corporate. When I left corporate to pursue my network marketing business full time, I had a loss in my identity. It was, I'd left this high-powered jet-setting career to jump off the plane with a newborn in my lap and proclaim I had an online business I was running from home. And it was a tough transition, right? She helped me redefine who I was and what I wanted out of life. She gave me permission to rewrite my story. And it took, it's still a journey if you follow me on this podcast. It's taken years to take that corporate and highly masculine energy kind of cast over my body and break that shell, right? But here's the cool thing. When she helped me redefine what I wanted out of life and recreate my own terms, she was also the first to encourage and start to prompt me about my whole LinkedIn strategy. You see, that was part of the devise during that time, was that I was finding a lot of success recruiting people for my business differently than the rest of my upline. And I knew I was onto something, but it was tough to duplicate in the sense that no one in my upline really was open to me sharing or coaching it, right? Because it wasn't really what worked. That's not what they had done, right? It wasn't what they had done. It wasn't what had worked for them historically. It came to a rub. And that's where my coach at the time said, "You're onto something amazing. Why do you feel like you have to stick to what your leaders have done? If it's working for you, why can't you just jump out of the nest as a fledgling in the industry and go do it yourself and blaze your own trail and coach your own team to do this?" And so she truly is that initial investment in one-on-one coaching with her for $150 a session. That initial investment in myself and my mindset was a massive ripple effect to where I am today, right? So she was the first to really prompt me. And so I did. I went on this journey where I committed to exclusively recruiting off of LinkedIn for 365 days to see what the results would be. And this was when it was just me personally recruiting and growing my business and teaching my downline how to do the same thing, right? But she also started to plant the seed with me because she had a lot of other clients in our industry. And she was like, "Have you considered other forms of income, building another additional income stream besides just your network marketing business?" And so again, having that first board of advisor who really helped give me permission to recreate my own story moving forward, that blank canvas in life, in parenthood. There were some ugly girls, snotty cries and tears, right? We worked through so much, right? Okay, so that brings me to my next board of advisors. So I went on an incredible journey with Courtney and got to a space where, again, I felt like it was time that I'd outgrown and exploded in my journey with her, but looking for even a higher level guidance, because at this point, LinkedIn was working really well for me. And she was an incredible mindset coach, but she wasn't a business coach who had an online presence that could teach me how to monetize my business online, right? And so that's where you have to seek the experts who are doing what you seek to do, right? And that brings me forward to Kayla Craft. It didn't take me long to realize I love her energy. I love how she prioritizes life. I love her relationship with God. I love her relationship with her family and her spouse, right? And I love how she's crushing being an online business coach. I'm hiring her because I want to learn how to do more, be more, and create another business, because she had gone before me. So I hired her. I invested. The transformation was in the transaction. And she helped me so much with my mindset and business. She helped me break the pattern of that poor, broke money mindset. She got me doing some deep work I'd never even considered. I thought she was going to help me grow my business. I didn't realize she was going to explode and open my mindset. I now understand that that is the imperative piece to grow your business. She helped me reconnect with the little girl that I had stuffed deep down into my psyche, and not understanding these habits and mindset patterns that were coming from her because I was suppressing her instead of loving and respecting her and making room for her. She helped me embrace my feminine, right? You guys listen to my last podcast. I talked about how corporate had me overbearing, living in the masculine energy, and she's helped me embrace and bring my feminine back. She also really helped me take what was working for me on LinkedIn and catapult it into a coaching business outside of my network marketing business. She propelled me forward to launch this business through initially working in between my ears, guys. In between my ears. I had a system that worked. It is proven, right? But what was broke was my mindset that I could start another business and that it would be successful, right? So her mindset worked with me and literally helping me take an idea to what will be a 7-figure income this year in less than a year and a half. I think I will say it was worth the ROI, right? She helped me realize what I was capable of and helped pull me to ground me along the way and hold me accountable to my priorities with my relationship with my spouse, my relationship with my kids, right? You cannot hide from a coach when you're with them every other week. It's intense work that's transformative if you pick the right one, right? She also had phenomenal connections. And this is something my upline and I talked about as my business really started to explode. They would say, do you think that one of the reasons you've been so successful is because of your coaching with Kayla and her network? Absolutely. That's why you hire the experts. They know, hey, I've got someone who runs Kajabi that can help you create coursework. Hey, I know someone that can edit podcasts. Hey, I know a guy that does really good coaching on finance, right? So like you hire the people who've gone before you for a reason. It condenses time for you, right? I cried with her. I celebrated with her. I could not hide from her, right? She helped me stay true to being a mom and a badass business builder. So there were moments where my business was just a rocket ship and I would say, oh my gosh, I need to hire more childcare. I can't do this. And she would always ground me and say, no, your priority was to be able to spend more time with your kids. Take the money you're making. Don't spend it on more childcare. Spend it on outsourcing. You need to hire people in your business. You do not need to be doing all of this. And when you hire and can hand over, you'll have space with your kids. So it's having that accountability advisor, right, to hold you to your truth and make more money while working less hours. I will be saying that over and over and over again. It doesn't have to be hard, guys. It doesn't have to be hard. Hey there, sorry for this quick interruption, but this is important. Grab a pen and a sticky note and write this down. On March 22nd, I will be live every day for 5 days on my free Facebook page, Burnout to All Out. You will learn to add new business builders to your team using the power of LinkedIn for free. Join us on March 22nd on the Burnout to All Out Facebook page. Okay, so that was my leap up and jumping into the elevator and going up 10 stories with my mindset coach, with Kayla Craft, which then brought me to a moment of overwhelm of holy shit, this business is taking off and I need a step-by-step organized process to make this program unprecedented, right? I wanted a playbook on organization and scaling, how to mass scale in an organized fashion that could still bring ridiculous value and unprecedented program, right? That would really feed the masculine in me. If I'm truly honest, I needed at that point, very specific business logistic coaching. And I realized, as incredible as Kayla had been, I needed somebody to get way in the weeds with me on SOPs, standard operating procedures, right? Step-by-step process, hiring, firing, methodical. And I personally decided I need one more board of advisors that's going to help me with this. And I decided to go into the Unstoppable Entrepreneurs program with Kelly Roche, right? And so it helped me take my business from a 6-figure launch to a multiple 6-figure launch in less than a month. And it was because I came to the program with an idea, with a course program that was already working. And then I was able to instantaneously, because I'd invested in this new board of advisors, to get into the archives, dive into the program, and apply what was a proven method that worked. But here's the catch. I had to pay to play, right? I had to pay to play. If I wanted to raise my lid another level, I had to invest in myself. But I also had to have the awareness that there's a gap. There's still this void. There's still this space of education I need as a business owner. Now, the broke mindset in me would have just been taking all the earnings from the original launch of the original business and spent it, right, on other things. But instead, I took a good portion of it and reinvested in a whole nother mastermind, right? Unstoppable Entrepreneurs. So here's the thing I want to point out here as far as board of advisors go. And the reason I love Kelly and Kayla so much, they are my yin and my yang, okay? You know, Kelly Roche, definitely, if any of you guys follow her, stands more in kind of that masculine energy. She's highly directional, methodical, step-by-step, grind it out, work hard, unprecedented, go above and beyond, lean into the hard, masculine energy, right? She has deadlines, you track your goals, all those things, right? Kayla is very much more around flow and ease and feminine. And she catches me when I'm getting overscheduled. And she catches me when I'm getting overprocessed. And she catches me and calls me out when I'm getting to a point of paralysis or sacrificing balance because I'm on a run with the schedule and the process, right? And so it's the opposite advice even from the two different programs sometimes. And this is good because you should never just do what people tell you to do. You should do it with consideration, right? You should do it with multiple perspectives. And so I've been able to take their kind of polar energies and their polar ways of coaching and elevate to myself. And this is what Kayla will say to me. Melissa, you're not Kayla Craft. Melissa, you're not Kelly Roche. You don't do it Kelly's way. You don't do it Kayla's way. You do it Melissa's way. I want that to sink in, guys. You want to do it your own informed way because you have a board of advisors giving you advice, right? Now, I've got another great advisor in business, and her name's Kaylin. You guys will be seeing her podcast drop shortly if it hasn't by the time this one airs. She is my advisor inside of the Unstoppable Entrepreneurs. I have her on speed dial in the DMs. She's my direct connection to Kelly Roche. She is an incredible resource because she understands the ins and outs of the entire Unstoppable Entrepreneurs and Legacy program. And she's able to, at every growth phase of my business, every month, she's able to plug something into me that I can watch and I can implement that positively impacts my business. So that is another advisor of mine. Okay, so those are my three kind of mindset and business advisors right now. Now, I told you guys I was going to go through all my advisors today. I also have a mastermind that I'm a part of, okay? And what I love about the mastermind, and this is with Kayla, is that it's a tribe of women who inspire me. Okay, when I jumped into this mastermind, I had a baby program. I hadn't hit 6 figures in sales quite yet in my baby program. And I was surrounded by these women who were making 6 figures in a day. And they were my cheerleaders, and their glass was half full, and they were cheering me on that, yes, you can. Not only were they cheering me on, guys, they were showing me it was possible. And this is something David Wood and I talk about a lot. And that is when you look around, who you surround yourself with has a huge impact on what you think you're capable of. So I'll take you back to when I was stagnant in my social selling business, and I was looking around, and the people I was leading on were all doing the exact same thing and not really going anywhere, right? So how was I to expect explosive change and growth in myself? But the moment I cannonballed into a mastermind of women who nearly intimidated me, it raised the bar for me. It raised the bar, but it also, more than that, inspired me. Because here's the deal, and maybe some of you guys can relate to this, but where I live, it's a slightly rural area where many women kind of take the back seat. And there's not a whole lot of women around me that I can connect with that are going for what I'm going for, that are doing what I'm doing, that are as excited and passionate about what they're doing as I am, right? They're confused about what I do, right? And so to pull up a chair and sit at the table in a community that's very specific to really seeing the world the way I do and having audacious goals like I do has been tremendous and propelling me forward. And it's been, and many of you who follow me know it's been a massive, massive evolution, right? We laugh together. We cry together. We cheer each other on. We hike the mountains of Sedona together. We play on the beaches together. We pray and meditate together. We also roll up our sleeves and create business plans together and give each other feedback on ideas and how we can do things differently based off of our own experience. We even share attorney information, right? It's one thing I've learned. The bigger you get, the more money you make, the better attorney you need, right? Okay. So that's it for business and mindset. Now, let me just jump into a couple of other advisors that I have. And that is the money advisors, right? You have to manifest. Not only do you have to manifest the money, but you have to tell the money where to go. So I'll start with Michael Davis. He is my financial advisor. He's incredible. He happens to be my cousin as well. And he is in charge of our financial planning and investing in many of our assets. But here's the thing. This kind of goes back to the yin and the yang. He's a great financial advisor, but he has no experience in the online space. He has no experience of this whole water faucet, turn on, turn off, launch mentality of making a bunch of money today, but then not turning that water faucet back on for a couple months. And so the importance there is to recognize the blind spots of even your advisors and find others to fill the hole. So many of you guys heard Mel Abraham on my podcast the other day. He specializes in coaching business owners in the online space because he's very familiar with the financial planning and the forecasting of income that undulates, that ebbs and flows, right? So again, it's nice to have the yin and the yang as far as where your money should go and how you should invest based off of the perception and the experience of the advisor. And the last piece I'll say on that is just a great CPA, right? Luckily for me, my CPA has been with us since we started in network marketing, and she's very, very familiar with small business tax and law. And what I would recommend for all of you listening is if you have an accountant who's not familiar with small businesses and they're trying to learn with you, I would recommend go find a new one. Because here's the problem. You're not just giving up tax savings each year, you're losing out on the compound interest of that money that could be somewhere else. You could be giving up hundreds of thousands of dollars by sticking with the wrong accountant, right? Last piece for board of advisors that I'm going to kind of put a bow on today is spirituality. Where do you go for advice, inspiration, and grounding? For me, Mark Batterson has been one of my favorites. He doesn't live anywhere near me. He's up in DC, and he has an incredible YouTube channel. I love listening to his sermons on Sunday mornings while I'm cooking breakfast for my kids, and I love reading his books. But he keeps me grounded to why in the world I'm doing all of this anyway. He keeps me grounded to purpose and mission, and he also keeps me grounded to keeping those audacious goals because God loves to show off in his power and his glory by helping you fulfill your goals when you turn around and give him that glory back, right? So in summary, I've shared with you guys a lot of different board of advisors, okay? So we walked through my initial steps with Courtney Hirsch as my mindset coach as a fledgling, right? And then my investment into a one-on-one business coach and mindset coach with Kayla Craft, and that yin and yang with Kelly Roche as being my more tactical strategic business coach. And then we talked a little bit about finances and having the right financial advisor, the right accountant, and who do you lean on for spirituality and how are you staying grounded? And I also don't want to forget sweet Kaylin, who really helps me, is my lifeline when it comes to business, right? So here's the thing. If you don't surround yourself with people who can advise you, you will stagnate, you will slow down, and you'll begin to shrivel. Okay? So here's a good exercise for you. How are you feeling about your business? How are you feeling about your outlook on all things right now, not just your business? Is it looking dismal, not motivated? You might need an upgrade on your board. You can start with one small step. You don't have to dive into a $100,000 business coach, but you can start with one small step like I did with a $150 session, paid at the time, I didn't have to pay for sessions in advance, with a mindset coach who allowed me to take a peek behind the door of what was possible. And that turned into opening the door and jumping and cannonballing into a completely new world. There's such an intangible ROI for me with all these advisors, from, a more balanced human optimizing my life by getting advice just from experts who raise my lid and take me where I want to go mentally, emotionally, spiritually. We didn't even talk about physically. We could just go ahead and say Peloton is my board of advisors on fitness right now, right? But getting more balanced mentally, physically, spiritually has created a ripple effect into my household and those that I teach, those that depend on me in my business. That's the intangible. The tangible ROI is the massive growth in my business and my income, right? That's like the no-brainer, right? But that's really the icing on the cake from the transformation as the human that I've become, right? So I'll end with this. I'll end with the beginning of my podcast. A woman who was willing to grow can create anything she desires. But you must be proactive and strategic about this. And consider all of the advice that you get in balance, right? In balance, in the yin and the yang of advice. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode today.
Thanks for listening to the Burnout to All Out podcast. For free resources, materials, or information on my coaching services, go ahead over to livethefreelife.co. That's livethefreelife.co, or check out our Facebook community at Burnout to All Out, and make sure you follow Burnout to All Out on Spotify and subscribe to iTunes. And it would truly mean the world to me if you paused for just a second, gave me that 5-star review of the show, and be sure to share this episode with any burnouts you think would be inspired to go all out after hearing this episode.